Chapter 41. The Death of Sarah. Genesis 23, 1-20. And Sarah was 107 years old, were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, the same as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead, and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord, thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abram stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it to me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of a city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein. I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give it thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee the money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he hath named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure. Unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of the city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, the same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field, and the cave that is therein, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. Genesis 23, 1-20. This chapter is of interest because it is concerned with burial ground. Quote-unquote spiritual religion looks down on such concerns. One person recently advocated cremation because it was held that things material are unimportant, and on environmental grounds burial was unethical. The answer given by a young woman was to the point. God made the human body, and it must be treated with respect. Abraham's action had future consequences. Not only were Sarah and Abraham buried there, Genesis 25:9, but also Isaac, Rebekah, and Leah, Genesis 49:31, and later on Jacob, Genesis 50:13. The Mosque of Hebron now stands over the site because Arabs, like Jews, claim descent from Abraham. A decent burial was seen as a religious fact. One of the curses on disobedience pronounced by God in Deuteronomy 28:26 is this, And thy carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Jeremiah pronounced judgment on King Jehoiakim in these words, He shall be buried with the burials of an ass, drawn and cast forth beyond the gates of Jerusalem. Jeremiah 22:19. Many texts tell us that a good and honourable burial was important, Joshua 24:30, etc., whereas the leprous King Uzziah was buried in the same field but separately from his fathers, 2 Chronicles 26:23. In the Apocrypha, in the book of Tobit, we see that one aspect of charity was to provide a decent burial to the needy and to the victims of oppression. Quote, In the time of Shalmaneser, I used to do many acts of charity for my brothers. I would give my bread to the hungry and my clothes to the naked, and if I saw one of my people dead and thrown outside the wall of Nineveh, I would bury him. And if Sennacherib the king killed anyone who had come as a fugitive from Judea, I buried them secretly, for he killed many in his anger. Their bodies were looked for by the king and could not be found. End quote. Unlike pagan cultures which either exalted the dead to an amazing degree at times or else feared the dead and sought to avoid or placate them, the Bible shows us that the godly respected their dead and cared for their remains. Jacob, when dying in Egypt, said to his sons, "I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite." Genesis 49:29. The New Testament tells us something also about covenant burials. Myrrh and aloes with spices were used to bury the dead. John 19:40. Burials did not take place on the Sabbath. Mark 16:1. Luke 23:56. In Bible times and later, respect for the dead required that, if a funeral procession passed by, everyone along the way went with the mourners for a short distance. A wedding procession took precedence over a funeral, life over death. The text tells us that the area was in Hittite hands, that is, the sons of Heth, verse 3. It refers to Ephron the Hittite in verse 10. Some commentators have denied a Hittite presence in Canaan at the time. As Steigers has shown, the text can only be understood in terms of Hittite law. In the Hittite Code number 47, lands held as gifts from the king had no feudal obligations, whereas lands purchased from the craftsmen carried such duties. This tells us much about the transaction. Abraham wanted only the cave, Machpelah, the name of which indicated a double cave which could serve as a burial place for several generations. Ephron wanted to sell the land around the cave in order to be rid of the feudal obligations. In such a transaction, the land would be very specifically described in the deed of sale, and the reference to the field, the cave, the trees and the borders, as well as to the 400 shekels or weights of silver, indicates that the deed was in mind when this text was written, verses 16 and 17. In verse 18, we have the deed recorded at the gate of the city, the place where court was held, and also where the city council met. According to Steigers, neither the Code of Hammurabi nor the Natsu law covered the terms of this transaction, whereas Hittite law fully covered it. Burial sites meant the home place, so Abram, by this act, formally recognized that Canaan was his and his descendants' home. The Hittites, verses 5 and 6, described Abraham as a mighty prince, and they indicated a willingness to give him the cave. This was, in part, respectful courtesy and a way of prompting Abraham to do what a prince should do, be generous. It is true Eastern custom, but the formal courtesies had as their purpose the opportunity to assess one another's character. Apparently, the field gave legal access to the cave, and therefore the two were tied together by Ephron. In the bargaining, Ephron cites a price in verse 15. "A piece of land worth 400 shekels, what is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead." Ephron says thereby, "You, Abraham, are rich, and I am not, so what is 400 shekels to you? Pay it, and bury your dead." This Abraham did. Christians have not been allowed to visit this cave, but with two exceptions. In 1869, the Prussian Crown Prince Frederick, and in 1881, the Prince of Wales, later Edward VII, received permission from the Muslims to visit the grave. Verses 1 to 3 tell us that Sarah died at age 127 at Hebron, and Abraham, who apparently was elsewhere at the time, came and wept. It is possible that Sarah had been ailing for a time, and so Abraham had found an urban house for her instead of his encampment in the fields. Some people are not happy that the Bible gives space to this episode. For them, it is unspiritual, and it is for them part of the Old Testament's unspiritual nature in great measure. Of course, Once this attitude prevails, it soon works on the New Testament and on Christian history. It is a mask of impotence because God's word and law covers all of life, and to become as quote-unquote spiritual as some demand means to secede from history and to show contempt for God's law word. The Bible does not give us a way of life abstracted from this world, but one in command of it.